Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Teacher, and today we're going to read The Mother of the Civil Rights Movement. Many people believe that the civil rights movement in America began on December 1st, 1955. On that date, an African American woman named Rosa Parks refused to vacate her seat on a Montgomery, Alabama bus so that a white person could sit there. At the time, local laws unjustly allowed African Americans to be treated as second class citizens. Many hotels, restaurants, and even drinking fountains throughout the South were for whites only. And in Montgomery, the state capital of Alabama, as elsewhere through the South, city buses were segregated. The front 10 seats were set aside for whites. African American passengers had to ride in the back. So, we're talking about the mother of the civil rights movement, Rosa Parks, right? Mostly everybody knows of the story about Rosa Parks on the bus. So, we're going to read it together today and find out more about that. Rosa Parks found it degrading to have to sit in the back of the bus. For that reason, she usually walked home from her job in a Montgomery department store. But on that winter evening, Parks was feeling tired and decided to take the bus home. Soon, all 10 seats in the front of the bus were occupied by white people. When another white man got on, the driver told Parks and three others to give up their seats so that he could extend the whites only section. The three others gave up their seats, but Parks refused to move. The driver called the police, who took her into custody. So, because at the time there was segregation, right? White people and black people were not allowed to go to the same places. So, at that time, Rosa Parks was really tired from her job. She just wanted to take the bus home. And she was sitting in the proper section of the bus for the segregation at that time. But another white person came on the bus, and the bus driver demanded that the three black people leave the bus so the white person could sit down further back in the bus. And three others gave up their seat, but Rosa Parks refused to move. So the bus driver called the police, and they came and they arrested her. Parks was detained at the police station for 3 hours. When she was released, she was ordered to appear in court 4 days later. There, she was found guilty and fined $10. Her lawyers appealed the verdict, and the case slowly began making its way through the courts. So there was a decision made in the court, but they appealed it. They decided to go back and try to fight some more. So then this started a whole thing. Meanwhile, the battle for civil rights was also being fought in the streets of Montgomery. African American people boycotted the city's buses. This resulted in heavy losses to the company. An African American minister from Atlanta, Georgia, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., found himself suddenly thrust into a position of leadership. Many white citizens felt that the boycotters were being arrogant in demanding equal treatment under the law. There were numerous outbreaks of violence. However, Dr. King preached a message of nonviolence. He urged his supporters never to use force, even if they were attacked. The country was moved by his eloquence. They could no longer ignore the racial injustice that had been previously taken for granted. The campaign lasted 381 days. It ended on December 20th, 1956, when the United States Supreme Court made a historic ruling. The court agreed with a lower court ruling that the Montgomery Law violated the United States Constitution. The nation's highest court ordered the bus company to integrate the buses. In doing so, it sent a powerful message. African American people could no longer be treated as second class citizens. So, this small act grew and grew and grew, and it led to boycotts. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Finally he was the head of something. He could really speak to others and share about this injustice. So finally, after the Supreme Court, everything went all the way up to the Supreme Court and the ruling was made, this bus company was in trouble, and they were told they had to integrate. They had to allow Black people and white people to sit anywhere that they wanted on the bus. So it was a really important ruling for Black people in the United States. It was clear that the movement sparked by Rosa Parks had triumphed when Congress passed the 1964 Civil Rights Act. This law opened up public housing, schools, and employment to people of all races. In 1989, Parks was invited to attend ceremonies at the White House, marking the 25th anniversary of its passage. In 2002, her former home in Montgomery was placed on the National Register of Historic Places. Rosa Parks died in 2005, but she will always be remembered as the mother of the civil rights movement. Her 100th birthday would have been February 4th, 2013. To mark that date, the United States Postal Service created a Rosa Parks stamp, and later that month, President Barack Obama unveiled a statue of her in the U.S. Capitol building. It was one small way to apologize for what had happened nearly 60 years before. So again, that small act turned into a very, very large rippling effect that affected everybody in the United States. And that is why Rosa Parks is known as the mother of the civil rights movement. Thank you for reading with me today. We do have links related to each of our stories. If you want the link for this video, you can find it down in the description below.